Welcome to the next lesson about how to freehand a mesh top. And last time we talked about how to build those two shoulders, and we made one, we made two, and then fixed those right at the center. Fixed those together. I cut the thread, and then I fixed the thread at the beginning of the row. I will turn the whole thing upside down so that it makes more sense. So I cut the thread here and I fixed the thread here, and then I worked a few centimeters up without any increases, decreases, without nothing. So just basically a straight rectangular shape. Just using this fillet mesh pattern, right? So 3 and 2 chains at the beginning of the row, then as many squares as you need, and then the finishing square with extended double crochet, and then 3 chains, 2 chains, and as many squares as you need, without any increases and decreases here. So I'm not gonna dive deeper into that one. However, let me turn the shirt the right way. If we take a look at the shirt, we see that at certain point that straight line, it was pretty much straight up until about here, the line started to go wider to the sides. Why is that? Because we are human beings, because this is how our bodies are built, okay, so that we have those comfortable lines. And if we use the ruler, we see that about here I have 38 centimeters. If you're using inches, you will have a figure in inches. And then if we go just a little bit here, we have 40 centimeters, right? So it became wider. And then 45 centimeters, and here like 55 centimeters, and we will be following those lines with our work. So like I said, from this point until this point I worked without any increases, decreases. See, I maybe cheated a little bit, so my line is maybe 1 centimeter wider than the actual line of the t-shirt, but you know, it's okay for right now, because since it's crocheting, it will stretch just a little bit. I know the material, it will stretch a little bit and become just a little bit narrower, so I'm not worrying about that one. What you have to know is that this part I worked without any increases, but here I obviously need increases because I had 38 centimeters and then 40 centimeters. Where do I get those? I need to increase, okay? And remember, when we were forming the upper part, we went from here, okay? And we increased just on one side. But in this case, since it's symmetrical, we will have to increase on both sides. And the chart, see, just a reminder, for the shoulders we worked this way, and then kind of we turned the work and went this way. Okay, so we're working now this way, upside down. Okay, I hope it makes sense. So the chart for the increases is very simple actually, and it's just a little bit different in the beginning of the row and at the end of the row. So every time you need an increase, you go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2 chains, and then extended double crochet into the same stitch, and then the amount of squares that you need, like 100, 200, 100 and a half, and then this extended double crochet, chain 2, and an extended treble crochet. Remember the one with yarn over 2. Okay, now again let's take a look at the t-shirt again. Like here, 38, and then 39 maybe. Okay, it doesn't go to the sides very fast, but here, see, it like, wow, the situation changes dramatically. I need to like form this curve very, very quickly. So how do I deal with it? Okay, again, once in a while, every other row, probably every third row, I will just stop, and after an increase I will see, do I want more increases? If I don't, if the line goes pretty much along the line of the shirt, the row after increase, I will just build those squares. So see, here's a square, above a triangle, a square, and at the end of the row also a square. If I see that I wouldn't need any more increases for another couple of rows, I just repeat that row, 1 or 2 maybe rows, and then again I see, do I need more increases? If yes, then I will make another increase, 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, and then chain 2, and then all those squares are going on. And at the end of the row, again, 1 extended double crochet and the extended treble crochet, and of course 2 chains. And if I need like more and more and more increases, the next row I will not go for squares. I will increase, and the increase will go into this stitch, at the beginning of the row, and into this stitch at the end of the row. So at the beginning of the row, you will be finding the upper right corner of the triangle, and this is the beginning of the row, right? So at the beginning of the row you will find the upper left corner of the triangle, and then those 4 chains from that point, and then into the same stitch you will go with your extended double crochet, right? So into this part of the triangle, and at the end of the row into this part of the triangle. It's a right upper point of the triangle. So the faster you want to increase, the more increases you need. The more increases you need, the less rows without increases you make. Okay? So I think it makes sense. So just for a record, I will show you how I increase, but I think to this point you already can figure out this one for yourself, okay? I will show you just in case. However, there's another important thing that we need to talk about. And if you're a male subscriber, you can skip that part, but if you're a woman, you need to watch this. Very male, we obviously need more volume here, more fabric here than, for example, at the back. So what are we gonna do? Normally, I would crochet or knit a dart, but for a mesh top, I'm using this tip, this hint, this life hack that nobody pretty much uses, but it works. You know, my mesh top, they fit pretty well, and I think it's because I'm using that trick. So at certain point, pretty much about when you're here, okay, you need to put on your t-shirt and fix your work and fix your current mesh top right here to this line. You either use pins or you just take a sewing needle and just a little bit fix it, okay, so that you see that everything goes right and this thing fits you as well as your t-shirt. And try to figure out where does your body needs more volume. So in my case, it starts about here, okay, and ends about here. So like this is where I want to start my dart and finish the dart about here. So how do I form that dart? What is a dart? It's like an extra fabric that you need to cover that volume, okay? So normally here I have extended double crochet stitches, but for about this part, and I define this part, just go into the mirror and see where my chest is, okay? For this part I will be using treble crochet stitches, extended treble crochet stitches for this area. You will not notice that the stitches are different, but since extended treble crochets are a little bit taller than the extended double crochets, you will automatically have that extra volume. At the beginning of the row, like right here, you're forming your row, okay? This is where I want my dart to start, okay? So it's pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. Well, in this case, there will be 7 squares, probably 7 or even 8 squares. So 8 squares, I will go for just regular extended double crochets, and here and until here, this part should be equal to this part, I will go for extended treble crochets, and then again until the end of the row I will be using extended double crochets. And the next row, again, extended double crochets, and then extended treble crochets until about here, and then extended double crochets. For how many rows? I don't know, probably like something like this. So I just go to the mirror with my t-shirt on and this thing and the project I'm working on kind of stick together, and I see, do I want more of those kind of, I do not call it increases, I would call it a dart, okay? So just following the lines of the t-shirt and following the lines of your body. This is what I would normally do. I hope that makes sense. Now a few words about the dart also. If you do not do that, of course it depends on your fabric, it depends on your size. If you're small, probably it's not that noticeable, but if you're of a bigger size like L, XL, you will notice that if you do not have that volume, the front part, the shirt will go up, because here, so here is your chest. You need to cover it with fabric, okay? And if you're of a very big size, bottom will go up to have this fabric to cover your chest, okay? So this is why we're making that extra volume here. I hope it makes sense. Please write down if it does. And now let's crochet a little bit. So I'm gonna increase one time here and then probably a few rows without any increases, and then you will get the idea how to increase every row right here. Okay, so I'm about to start a new row where I needed an increase. Okay, and I go like 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, 1, 2, and an extended double crochet right here. That's it. This is an increase, and then 1, 2, and a square. And then as many squares as you need until you reach the end of the row. So this is what it looks like. Exactly what we were expecting. A triangle and then squares. And I will see you at the end of the row. If you are using stitch markers, go ahead and mark this one so that you know where your last increase happened. But I wouldn't do that. I would just see how it goes along the shirts line. That's it. So I will see you at the end of the row. And let's make that increase. So this is my extended double crochet, and then chain 2, yarn over 2, and go into the same stitch in 4 steps. That's it. We've got the increase, and it's very, very clear that it's a triangle. And next, since in the next row I do not want to increase, I will just make a square 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 above that triangle. Okay, this will be a square formed by chain 3, chain 2, and an extended double crochet, and though all the rest are squares. And remember, at the end of the previously at the beginning of the row we had this increase, so here will be a square. Okay, an extended double crochet, chain 2, and an extended double crochet, and a few rows I will go without any increases and then with increases. In fact, I've already finished my back part. I have done the armholes, and this is what it looks like. Again, it goes along the line. I had an increase here, well, and definitely at the end of that row, and then no increase, no increase, no increase, 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 increase. So those were like increases in every single row. Okay.